the commercial fishing port capital of America, New Bedford, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Paul Santos live show. Yeah! Tonight's guests are amazing singer and sax player Pat Loomis, hilarious comedian Kristi Obrien, from La France Hospitality, Charlie Fellows.
Yeah.
Plus, filling in tonight for Ronnie C, it's Eric Costa, and joining Artie DeMello and the PSL Band. Yeah! Oh, and me, I'm the comedy director, Joanna Raposa. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the host of our show, Paul Santos.
All right, thank you very much, Joanna, for that very warm welcome. How's everybody feeling tonight? All right, thank you very much, Joanna. Hey, the PSL Band, we got an extra guy there. Our first guest is coming up soon, Mr. Pat Loomis. All right. Well, if you're watching on ABC 6 in Providence, we hope you're having a fantastic weekend. If you're watching on Channel 95 in the greater New Bedford area, good evening to you. And if you're watching the live stream on Facebook or YouTube, just type something in, say hello, let us know where you're watching from, and we'll give a shout out right back to you. All right, let's start out with some news items if we could. You know, we have a new Pope. That's right, Pope Leo the 14th. Yeah, imagine that. Wow. Hey, I know we're fighting an economic war with China with the tariffs and all that, but at least the Pope is made in America.
No tariff.
You know, I'm really glad they picked Leo the 14th. You know who came in a close second? Pope Casey the First. Just think, it would have been the first Pope ever spending all his time in confession.
He needs more time in confession. Where's the drummer I keep hearing? Oh, that's on the keyboard.
Imagine if Casey was Pope. It's like, hey, we got to say midnight mass. So wait a minute, I'm not done in confession yet. Well, anyway, I got some really great news. Jacinto Rigo of New Bedford turned 100 years old. Can you imagine that? Hey, you know something, gentlemen? He still has a libido. He discovered that when the podiatrist came over.
No comment. Wow.
Did you?
Wow.
Guess he had a little foot thing there, you know. Foot long. Anyway, hey, you know, they asked him a question. They said, what is the key to living to 100 in New Bedford? He said, don't drink, don't smoke, and stay the heck out of Fall River. I'll tell you, the gentleman's been around a long time, you know. In fact, he's been around so long, he remembers when the whales out here were nervous. You know, this is the whaling city, right? You follow all that? Okay, all right, guys. Anyway. You know, they asked him the first time he parallel parked. He goes, yeah, I remember I backed in a whale boat and brushed up against Butler Flat on the way in. Never mind. Little delay in the delivery there. Sorry about that. Well, speaking of some crazy stuff going on, you know, there's going to be a brand new television show, The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Can you imagine that? Oh, my God. You know, on the first episode, there's a fist fight over who makes the best coffee milk. And the second episode, it gets really ugly. The women fight over the husband's hot wiener. You know, some of these women have really, really big egos. You know that? In fact, one of them had more work done than I-95. And the marriage in these shows, they're always on the rocks, you know? Like a Washington Bridge over troubled water. Well, let's go to the banking news. Let's see what we can do with the banking news. Yeah, we got some banking news. This is a sad news, too. Santander Bank is closing 7 area branches. But, you know, I personally am not worried. I've got an emotional support animal, my piggy bank. Hey, by the way, let's talk about banking, you know. It reminds me of something. It reminds me of our good friend, saxophonist, Artie DeMello, and one of his ex-girlfriends.
Oh, no, me again.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you remember her? Sandy Santander. Yeah. Him and Santander went on a bender. Yeah, but she had a lot of assets. Santander couldn't stand her. Yes, I like that one. I like that one better.
That's what you got me here.
I like that better.
Emotional.
Let me try that again. Sandy Santander could not stand her. All right. Never mind. I can edit that and make it look like it was my idea.
She might retaliate for sexual harassment.
Oh, I'll represent myself. I'll have a fool for a client. Anyway, hey, hey, I got some really good news. No, I got some really good news. You know the musical Swept Away about a shipwreck from New Bedford? It got a Tony nomination. Yeah, the musical Swept Away about a shipwreck in New Bedford getting a Tony nomination. You know, in the movie, someone yells, abandoned ship, but they weren't on the ship. They were in the South End. I'm sorry, I can kid New Bedford. You know, I'm from New Bedford, so I can kid New Bedford. You know, New Bedford has a tough crowd, I'll tell you. A tough crowd, I'll tell you. You know, a group from New Bedford went down to Broadway to see the show, and when the shipwreck happened, it got a standing ovation. One sailor didn't realize the ship was co-ed until he got caught in a crow's nest.
Are you sure that shipwreck wasn't in the South Pacific?
I don't know, I'm not sure.
And it wasn't on Gilligan's Island?
No, absolutely not.
I like the way he straightens his tie.
Yeah, that's all I got left is this tie right here. Hey, that show about the shipwreck, you know, it's a lot like the Titanic, except the New Bedford audience was rooting for the iceberg. Hey, you know, the captain went down with the ship. Did you know that? No. Went down with the first mate, too. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're on a roll here. Hey, Casey, aren't we on a roll? Yeah, we're on a roll. So I'm sorry to tell you this. I have to deliver to you the final joke of the night. All right. Thank you very much. Well, you know the South Coast Rail? We've been waiting for the South Coast Rail train to Boston for like 30 years. They finally have it running, and there are many delays. I mean, they've had so many delays, even Newark Airport sent a sympathy card. Even the Polar Express to Santa rides goes faster. I asked the guy, how do you feel on the train? He said, like a hostage. And last but not least, at this rate, more people are getting railed in the station than by the train. Oh, anyway, we have a great show for you tonight. Everybody still feeling good? All right. Hey, Grace, how you feeling over there, all right? I just like looking to see Grace's facial reactions, which usually she's either laughing or rolling her eyes like, what the heck is he talking about? But anyway, we have and my wife too, yeah, she got her hands in her head like this. Anyway, we have a great show for you tonight. We start the entertainment portion of our show right now, right after this message. But first, say hello to, let's see, we got Eric. We've got Artie. It's the makeshift PSL band. PSL band. Yes, Ronnie C. couldn't make it tonight, so we just want to say thanks to Eric Costa for filling in tonight. Thank you so much for filling in. Last minute, let's hear it for Eric Costa. All right. By the way, I asked people to type in some hello. So we have Joanna Allen LaFrance looking in tonight from LaFrance Hospitality. Thank you very much. Andrea Ryan looking in from London, England. Just celebrated her birthday the other day. Thank you very much to Andrea Ryan for looking in. Roger Brightman, I knew he wasn't going to be here tonight because he doesn't want to miss the opening tap of the Celtics. Well, I'm going to go home and watch it too. Roger Brightman, thanks for watching. And Johnny J, John Oliver, watching the show from Florida, says the show is even funnier down here, or maybe it's because I've had too many rum punches. He's not sure. Our good friend Johnny J. All right. You may have seen our first guest already because he kind of slipped over there with the PSL band, but we're still going to give him the big-time formal introduction. I've been watching this gentleman for a long time, and he is a great, great musician. He plays with different bands, and he can really kill it with that saxophone. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please say hello to tonight's guest performer, Mr. Pat Loomis? Pat Loomis. Hey, step right up, Patrick. What's going on? Wow, that was smooth. That was smooth.
I try to be smooth all the time.
I'm looking at your saxophone. It's much shinier than Artie's.
Well, I bought it last year, so that's probably why. But Artie's has character, though.
Yeah, it's got a little mileage on it, like that last. Well, never mind.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. That's
Well, I'm glad to have you here. You know, I know you've been playing music for such a long time, right? You started playing as a kid, right?
Yeah, just last week, yeah.
Step this way just a little bit. No, the other way, actually. There you go. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to get your good side.
Yeah, good luck finding it, yeah.
Now, I know you've been around a little bit. You actually went to California for a while, and then you decided to come back to beautiful New England. What happened?
Southern California was an unfortunate chapter in my life. Sorry to hear that. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm glad it's over. So I'm glad to be back in New England. I lived here for 30 years before I moved, so this is definitely the place to be.
Whatever happened to Hooray for Hollywood?
Yeah, you ever driven down Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah.
It's awful. That's what happened to it. Yeah.
Well, you know the guy dressed in the Spider-Man outfit? It doesn't do anything for you.
No. Like, where do those webs come out of? You know, that's what I want to know. Or maybe I don't want to know. I'm not sure. You know.
So you're from here originally?
I'm originally from Seattle, Washington.
Oh, is that right?
But I came to Boston in 1988 to go to Berklee College of Music.
Oh, Berklee College of Music. How about that, huh? You can tell. You can tell. That's where the professionals go.
That's what they tell me. How they let me in, I'm not really sure.
They let Artie in.
I'm not taking the bait, Artie. I'm not, man.
So what's going on with you lately? I know you're a very, very busy guy.
Yeah. Let's see. I was at the Vault yesterday for the Mother's Day brunch there. That was cool. And then on May 30th, I am at Bento's Bar and Grill on Pleasant Street with my band. And then June 6th, I'm at the Whaling Museum for First Fridays with Joaquin Santos.
Oh, I got to go down there for that. You guys are awesome together.
Yeah, we're going to play inside the belly of one of those whales. You know.
How she blows.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, man. Where's?
Hey, you forgot the drum.
Oh my God.
Oh. There it is. All right, cool.
That whale was a little late.
Yeah, well, you know, better late than never. So that's cool.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of
But yeah, and that's the stuff in New Bedford. I've got a lot of gigs up in Boston too, and then it's wedding season, so I'm in Connecticut. I'm Connecticut on Friday, and Wallingford, Connecticut.
Oh, so you're a busy guy, professional musician. Glad to hear that. If you ever hear Artie, you hear him here. I mean, Pat playing here, kind of like a cappella with a small band. If you ever hear him with a big band, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, you can really bring the house down, which is always a lot of fun, right?
A lot of fun, yeah. And I got to say, I played in a lot of places in this country, and outside of this country. New Bedford audiences are among the best.
All right, let's hear it from the New Bedford audiences.
They really appreciate the music. I mean, if you had seen this crowd at the Vault yesterday, it was jam-packed, and it was really great, you know.
Well, that was Mother's Day, and I understand that you're very popular with the moms.
No comment.
Hey, he hit the thing at the right.
But that's what's the real great thing about that is the drums. Yeah. No, I'll take any fans I can get. It's okay, you know.
All right, do you have another song that you'd like to do for us?
I do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's hear it for the fantastic Pat Loomis.
They call it stormy Monday, but Tuesday's twice as bad. Well, they call it stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Wednesday's worse, and Thursday's twice as sad. Well, the eagle flies on Friday, Saturday I go out to play. I said the eagle flies on Friday, Saturday I go out to play. Sunday morning I go to church, and I get down on my knees and pray. And I say, Lord, have mercy. Please have mercy on me. I say, Lord, have you to find my baby, bring her back home to me. They call it stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Well, they call it stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Wednesday's worse, and Thursday's twice as sad.
Hey, Pat, that's fantastic. I love the fact that you sing and you really know how to play that. And
tell jokes too.
Oh, is that right?
I tell jokes too.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Let me hear one.
All right. A priest and a rabbi go into a strip joint, and no, there's kids here. I can't tell that one.
It's a TV show too, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Haven't you got a clean one?
No, I don't have any clean ones.
All right, Pat Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, Lumis. All right, let's throw it back to the PSL band. Stand by. We have comedy, actually. We have a real comedian coming up next. You're watching the Paul Santos live show. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes with our comedian. PSL band, give me a little bit of anything.
reach out and grab it. Abracadabra.
All right, let's hear it for the PSL band. Here they are. Wow, Eric, Pat, and Artie. Wow, a regular trifecta. Oh, I didn't think two saxes could play at the same time.
That's crazy.
Hey, I'll tell you, Eric. Wow, okay. You can never have too much sax. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, we have a comedy director here. She does a great job. Look, I got Artie on that cheap joke. Now I know the kind of audience we got here. Anyway, no, we have a great comedy director. Say hello to Joanna Raposa. Here she comes. Here she comes.
Box. I didn't kick the box.
You didn't kick the bucket either.
Oh my God! I look like an accountant on the screen.
Why did he say that?
Hide this horrible shirt. I look so.
You look like an accountant?
I was the funniest accountant you ever knew. Really? Also honest. Yep. That's a rare combination. What are you doing?
How is that? How are you what did you say, the funniest accountant?
Funniest.
How is that?
How is that? You know I'm funny, right? You hired me as comedy director. Yes. And you being a lawyer and I'm a former accountant, that's why we get along so well.
I thought you had a one-liner for that.
No, I was building up to it, but I'm just watching something over here. So no, but I don't work as an accountant anymore. Okay. I've been a volunteer for many years at an animal shelter. Let's hear it for animal shelters. Yep. And I think we missed it. The last week of April was National Volunteer Week or something. Yeah. And sometimes I used to have cats. I can't have them anymore because my husband is. Why? Yeah, this is weird. Because my husband's allergic. So sometimes I sit with the cats and I cry and I'm like, oh, and I think I'm going to make him sad. And then I realized cats don't give a crap if you're sad.
Yeah, it's only the dogs do.
They do. You're right. And then, but the cat looks at you like, I understand you're sad. You shouldn't be sad. I'm just going to rub up against your legs like you're popular or something. And
then they go like this. They go.
Oh, yeah. That's great. It's supposed to reduce your heart rate. But no, I really wanted to go into I wanted to write a movie. My friend is writing a script right now. Yeah? Actually, yeah. I said, can you please write a part for me and make my rear end bigger? So that's it. All right.
I laugh at it.
The band likes my butt as it is. Thank you.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Anyway. All right, well, we have a great comedian here tonight that this young lady, Joanna, was able to set up for us. Would you please say hello to our professional comedian tonight, Kristi Obrien?
Is it wrong to advertise your yard sale at a support group for hoarders? When I got dressed this morning, I asked myself, what would Giselle wear if she were Roseanne? I went with black because it's slimming and I'm expecting diabetes. Guys are wearing skinny jeans now. And the good thing about guys in skinny jeans is there won't be a second generation of guys in skinny jeans. It's a PSA from Auntie. Have you guys been watching the new Dexter show? It's dark. All that plastic at the bottom of the ocean. You guys don't watch Dexter. That's a really great joke.
Next.
My grandmother is so old.
How old is she?
When she was born, the Dead Sea was just sick. Oh, gosh. Two depressed people having sex is like throwing a surprise party for an unpopular kid. It seems like the right thing to do, but no one ever comes.
Disregard that kid.
Went to my class reunion recently. I recommend it. Yeah. Yeah, I saw my friend Tim there. In high school, Tim was a real firecracker. He was always blowing off class to drink and smoke pot. And he'd rather lie to you than tell you the truth any day of the week just for fun. Once he asked me for $5, and I knew it was for pot, but I wanted to hear what he'd come up with. So I asked him what it was for. He said, my mother forgot to give me lunch money. I said, Tim, for Christ's sake, why don't you just say it's for pot? Your mother is the lunch lady. He was at the reunion. He was looking good. I said, Tim, it's great to see you. Tell me about your life. He said, Kristen, I quit drinking. I quit smoking pot. I have a great job, a big house, a beautiful wife, and 3 lovely children on the honor roll. I said, that's so wonderful, Tim. He said, yeah, still having a little trouble with the lying, though. Yeah. I also saw my friend Rhonda at the reunion. Every comic should have a friend like Rhonda. I never know what she's going to say, but I always bring a pen. She gave me these bracelets. I said, thank you so much for the bracelets, Rhonda. They're beautiful. Where'd you get them? She said, I bought them at a fundraiser for a battered women's shelter. I told the lady, I really wish I could buy more, but my husband would kill me. I don't think she realized what she said till I took out the pen. Once we were at my house having coffee, I told her we had to be quiet because my husband was upstairs recovering from a vasectomy. When he finally came down, she patted him on the back and said, congratulations on the vasectomy. That takes balls. It's mostly women in my family. But that's okay, because the women in my family eventually turn into men. It starts with an errant chin hair in your early 30s, girls. By the time we reach 70, well, the Monday night bridge game looks like a meeting of the Taliban. So, I went to see my great-aunt Harriet the other day, and she was sporting a full goatee and mustache. I thought maybe she didn't know it was there until she started stroking it. Like it was a beloved pet she never had to let out to pee. My grandparents were married for 75 years. It's a long time, right? Yeah. In the end, they were like an old pair of socks. Thin and gray, always getting lost. And every now and then you'd come home and have to pick one of them up off the floor. I think someone left Nana in the dryer too long, because boy, did she shrink. Something. No, okay. And I have a daughter. If any of you are at an age where you're bringing home guys for your parents to meet, do Auntie Kristen a favor and don't bring home ugly people. I know that love is blind, but your parents still have to sit across the table and choke down the meatloaf. I remember one day when my daughter was 15, she called me from school. She said, Mom, can Jamie come over for dinner? Jamie was not on my friends list. He was 18, he had dropped out of school, and he had long hair, a pierced lip, and a police record. He was probably trying to get jiggy with my baby. So I was not a fan. But ladies, this advice is for you. You can never let your daughter know that you think the boy she's bringing home for dinner is a jerk. Or you'll be calling him by a far worse name, and that's son-in-law. So I said, absolutely, Jillian, bring Jamie over for dinner. I think my mother could tell it was going to be a hard night for me, so she tried to give me some advice. She said, Kristen, instead of thinking of Jamie as a felonious, long-haired, lip-piercing, baby-boinking dropout, maybe you could think of him as an injured woodland creature that Jillian is bringing home for you to nurture back to health, like she did when she was 11. And that turned out to be solid advice. When Jamie came to the door, I hit him over the head with a skillet, buried him in the backyard, and told my daughter he went to live on a farm. The meatloaf went down fine. Thank you very much, everybody. Kristi Obrien.
Kristen, you got some fun stuff over there. Let's see. We're gonna have you move a little bit that way. little bit. Welcome to our show. You having fun tonight?
I am. What a great thing. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you very much for driving down. You know, I have to tell you, every comedian that comes in here has their own style, has their own stuff, and some of the stuff that you have is just really edgy and hilarious. We love it.
I wasn't expecting the kids in the audience.
Oh, you're going to make it even more racy? This is a TV show, you know.
I did tone it down. Yeah,
I should come see you in the club.
you should.
It's going to be really dirty.
Yes.
Kids will remember it.
So it went over their head, most of it anyway.
Years of therapy, yeah.
Oh, you been in therapy?
The kids will be.
I wonder if we have the same therapist.
Oh, I don't know.
So how are you doing? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm newly single.
Oh, single and ready to mingle. Oh, wow. So, you know, being single, right, you don't have to listen to anybody squawking or anything.
No, I can pretty much come and go as I please. Yeah, it's great.
It's pretty, you like that?
Definitely, yep.
Yeah, good,
Yep.
good. So you didn't have to tell somebody, hey, I'm going down to the Paul Santos show tonight.
Nope, but I did anyway.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Now, picking your stuff, like, where do you get your comedy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of this stuff was, it was out there, you know what I mean?
Real life. Real life. Things happen, I write them down. That's pretty much it.
I'm glad that you definitely fit right into the kind of comedy that we do, you know what I mean?
I watched a few of your shows. I figured this was going to be okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a little bit of an offbeat sense of humor myself.
I love it. I love
All
it.
right. Well, we really appreciate you coming down. I hope you had a lot of fun. We certainly
sure
enjoyed
did.
having you. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristi Obrien.
Thanks.
All right, back to the PSL Band. Back with more. Our newest sponsor, La France Hospitality. Charlie Fellows is coming up next. We'll be right back right after this. Take it away, guys. All right, how about a nice hand for the PSL Band? Rocking the house tonight. Oh, I like that song. Dancing in the moonlight, everybody feeling woman right. Everybody dancing in the moonlight.
It's a supernatural delight.
Never mind. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a new sponsor, and hopefully there'll still be a sponsor after tonight. No, seriously, the France Group and the La France family, they have done so much in terms of their business investment around the area. They've had hotels. They, of course, have Whites of Westport. They have Merrills on the Wharf. What a great, successful business, and they really, really give back to the community. Would you please welcome from LaFrance Hospitality, Mr. Charlie Fellows!
Yes! I made it, folks. I finally made it to the Paul Santos show.
Hey, that's right, that's right.
I've been dreaming about this moment my entire life. My mom and dad are looking down upon me, saying, Charles, you made it to the Paul Santos show. It doesn't get better than this.
Doesn't get any better than
Well, welcome. Thank you. And thank you for Mikey B's. I'll tell you what, the food has been wonderful. I had the fish and chips.
Yes.
It's almost as good as Merrill's, but it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I got to
for
tell
having
you,
us.
well, first of all, before we get into this, right, my wife and I went to Merrills on the Wharf a few years ago, and we've been back many, many times, but I had the prime rib, and it was one of the best prime ribs I've ever had.
We don't serve prime rib. Paul.
Okay, all right.
We're a seafood restaurant, Paul. I think we had prime rib night, and we're going to have to bring it back since you loved it so much.
Oh, ribeye, prime rib, whatever. Anyway, but tell me a little bit about the LaFrance family. Obviously, people know Whites of Westport, right?
Yeah, well, I'm here pretty much to promote Merrills on the waterfront, which is New Bedford, but I'll give you a little rundown, absolutely. We started in 1955 with a six-stool diner in New Bedford and Fall River, Mass, and we've grown to what we are today. We've got a number of restaurants and hotels, and the big thing we're promoting today is Merrills on the waterfront, and tomorrow we're opening for lunch, and that's what I'm trying to invite everybody here to come on out and join us for lunch. I'm going to give you all a gift card, and hopefully you come.
All right,
Make
lunch
it once.
and Merrills. How about that? Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, because you guys only had dinner before, right?
Yeah, well, we did. We actually opened up in 1999, and we were open for lunch and dinner and Sundays, and then the pandemic came upon us, and it kind of killed things, and we stopped doing lunch. And now, as you know, New Bedford is booming, and people are moving into New Bedford, and people want to eat lunch. So guess what? We're going to open for lunch starting tomorrow.
I got to tell you, that view that you guys have down there, looking over the waterfront, looking over the fishing boats and all that, we're always bragging about how we're the #1 fishing port in all of America. Well, the view that you guys have down there is sensational.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, all the fish, and especially scallops that are coming in and out of New Bedford, are coming in right behind Merrills on the waterfront. Every single scallop that comes into New Bedford is coming in through that dock. And it is pretty fun to sit and watch the boats come in and out. And there's not a ton of waterfront restaurants. We are one of very few, so in the setting is beautiful, absolutely. And we have outdoor dining. We've got a tent. So yeah, it's a great spot, and it's a good time to open. Because
We've been upstairs a number of times. You have that room up there if you want to have a birthday party, if you want to have some event, you have that room upstairs that overlooks the harbor.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, we do a lot of functions. We do a ton of showers. We do a nice Sunday brunch on Sundays. But kind of like a hidden gem, a hidden secret. Not a ton of people know about us, but now they will because they're watching the Paul Santos show, right?
Let's hear it from Merrill, sir. All right, well, now, you are a member, even though your last name is Fellows, right? Are you still connected with the LaFrance family?
Yes, I am. I married into this racket.
You married into the LaFrance family?
Yes. And it's a family business.
Yes.
As you know, there's a number of family members.
Your wife is a LaFrance?
She was. Oh, no, she was. Yeah,
She was.
Like I said, it's a family business. We've got Richard LaFrance, the matriarch.
Yep.
Actually, Muriel's Rita's the matriarch, but Richard is Rita's son, and he's got 10 grandchildren who've all been involved in the business one way or another, and some of them are getting in and starting to, will be the fourth generation of LaFrance's. So yeah, it's been
Awesome.
quite a trip, but I married into it, like you said.
Yeah, good for you. That was a good decision.
Yeah. No, it was. I know. You know what? I've been doing this for 30 years. And
What's your role there? What's your title? You must have a fancy title.
No.
Executive director of blah, 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 or something like
I'm
that?
a jack of all trades and master of none. Is that a good? No, there's my title. No, my brother-in-law and I, Chris, pretty much run the restaurant operations, and Sean LaFrance is doing a lot of development with the hotels and whatnot. There's a lot going on downtown New Bedford, with apartments, and he oversees that. And then Richard, of course, he's got his hands in everything, and he's still involved. Absolutely.
Now, you heard the monologue, you heard our comedian. What do you think of the general humor on this show?
Oh my gosh. It's like
He said, oh my gosh, let's just stop him right there.
I was a little concerned because I thought you told me I was the comedian today, but
Actually, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have any old jokes or anything?
you know, I only have dirty jokes. And,
Well, that's like that guy over there.
yeah, no, I don't have any good jokes that I could tell. Yeah.
Don't
Especially
you have like a knock knock who's there or something like that?
my grandkids are over there, so I'm really kind of, you want to keep it clean, you know?
You got nothing, right? You got nothing? Nothing you can think of?
I got nothing for you.
Okay, all right. We just. Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. Well, no, we're very happy that you're here tonight. Thank you so much for being one of our newest sponsors. We're trying to keep the show on the air. ABC6, very expensive. And, of course, having more sponsors gives us a chance to highlight the comedians, people like Eric Costa over here, people like Pat Loomis, all of the great local talent in the area. So we're very thankful that you are supporting that as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. And like I said, we're excited. There's a lot of good things happening in New Bedford, especially the downtown area. There's a lot of good restaurants coming in, and we're just one of them. And we hope everyone comes out and joins us for lunch, dinner, have your parties, Sunday brunch. We do Sunday brunch. So yeah, I mean, we're happy about what's going on in New Bedford.
And maybe we can do an episode of the Paul Santos live show down there. What do you think about that?
I love it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I don't want to take away from Mikey B, but yeah, we'd love to have you there.
Hey, by the way, what's the name of that hotel that's down there?
That's the Fairfield Inn Hotel right across from the Merrills on the waterfront.
All right, I'm going to give you a 15-second story. My wife and I were in, I think it was Fort Myers. We said that we're from New Bedford, Massachusetts. Have you ever been there? Person said, oh, yeah, we went to New Bedford, Massachusetts. We stayed at that Fairfield Hotel there, right on the waterfront. I said, that's awesome. That's your hotel. See that? People all around that come to New Bedford, a lot of times they stay at your place.
Yeah, we're world renowned. Everyone knows who we are. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Charlie Fellows, La France Hospitality. Thank you very much for being on the show. Back with more of the Paul Santos Live Show. Once again, here's the band. We'll be right back. The perfect music. Keep playing. Ladies and gentlemen, Crazy Casey! Casey, step right up. I want to get you good side over here.
We're doing the cheap technology tonight, huh?
Yeah, we're one camera short of a 3-camera shoot.
Yeah. We're 3 cameras short of 4 things that should be here, and none of it's going to ever happen, so don't worry about it. Hey, look I want to wish everybody a very happy Easter. I've had a really tough week, and, I don't want it to take it out on you, because I always do that, officer. I was at the doctor's this week, and I had to go for... How come they've changed the name of a proctologist to a urologist?
I don't know.
Well, they've done it, and I went in, they gave me a new proctologist at Hawthorne, so I was sitting in the waiting room, and I looked up, and he's got a certificate there that says he graduated from the Indiana School of Gynecological Medicine. So I said, what am I doing here? I knew I was in trouble. He said, we're going to do one of those space probes. I said, no, you're not. Not another one. It's the colonoscopy thing or whatever. So he said, well, look, we're going to do a digital because it's your anniversary. Yeah. So he did the digital, as we all know, and I decided to fool him. When he put on his gloves, I put on a pair of gloves. Oh, that's when you really know what your doctor's made out of. Anyway, He examined me and he looked and he says, "Your prostate's enlarged." I said, "No, it's not." He said, "I'm telling you, it's enlarged." I said, "Well, look, I've been through this before. I want a second opinion." So he said, "Well, I'll use 2 fingers."
Hey, didn't you have some shrinkage?
Shrinkage.
Yeah, shrinkage.
He said to me, "You've been losing weight." I said, "You are you kidding me? I'm losing body parts. If this keeps up, I'm not going to have anything to leave to Harvard." But I tell you one thing, he told me that I kept telling him I'm getting depressed and anxiety, because they do that, when you get older, they ask you a lot of stupid questions. Yeah. So he said, "How's your sex life?" I said, "Well, I went on a blind date." Yeah. She was blind. Yeah. But you know what?
Did you hear that? He said good thing she was blind.
Oh, I know. They always make fun of me. I don't care. Everybody makes fun of me anymore. But anyway, it wasn't bad. I went on that blind date. Yeah. And we went out on another one. But this time I said, I'm going to equalize it. I wore a bag. On my head.
I got to give him a signal.
No, but the problem was it was a plastic bag. I almost killed myself. It was a plastic bag. So we got into an intimate situation. And we were waking him. She says, "Do you smoke after sex?" I said, only if the house is on fire. So she put the light on, and I looked over, and there was a picture on the side right next to her. I said, is that your ex-husband? She says, "No, that was me before the operation."
All right.
The moral of the story is don't go on blind dates. That's why I put my hat in the ring for to be the Pope, like you mentioned.
Yeah, Pope Casey the First. That would have been something, huh?
You know what? You know who gave me the biggest support here? Monsignor Avila. He wanted me off ABC 6 on Sundays.
I want to shout out to Monsignor Avila, Steve Avila. I grew up with him, and I got to wonder, I wonder if he ever turns the show on like before the mass comes on.
I want to meet him, and I want to tell him that if he's responsible for you and your family, the Catholic Church simply has a sense of humor.
All right, Crazy Casey, ladies and gentlemen.
One more thing. I just want to say something to that lovely LaFrance family. You don't know me, but I grew up and spent so much time in Westport in the 60s and 70s, and whites of Westport, and I'm not going to go on naming everything, but the LaFrance family in New Bedford and what they've done out in all the, what's that other one? Bumblebee something place, and there's another place they've got, but they've got a lot of it. They used to have, and I watched them expand and change, and I'll tell you what, I actually had my wedding there at White's Family Restaurant.
Me too.
Really? So I didn't know you were as old as me. I hope it was a female.
Crazy Casey, pull the plug. All right, we want to take this opportunity to thank our guests. How about Mr. Pat Loomis? How about Eric Costa filling in for Ronnie C. right over there? And how about Arthur DeMello on the other sax right here? Joanna Raposa, our director of comedy. We'd also like to thank that fantastic comic who drove about an hour and a half to get down here to be on our show. We really appreciate it. Kristi Obrien. And what a sense of humor the folks at LaFrance have. Just like Crazy Casey said, they have a great thing going on in Southeastern Mass. They always got something going on. They have a great family. They're super business people, and we're so glad they've signed on to help us continue our show from LaFrance Hospitality. Thanks to Charlie Fellows for being on the show tonight. All right, we're going to be back here at Mikey B's for another exciting episode of the Paul Santos Live Show. If you're not doing anything, you want to come down and hang out with us on a Monday night, feel free to sit in our live studio audience when our guests will be Jeremiah Crowell, a great singer, J.J. Jones, a great comic, Alex Mann, another comic who's promoting a show that we're involved in, and from Remax Vantage Real Estate, Mr. Ron Oliveira. And how about you guys right here? Give yourselves a hand. What a great live studio audience. I'm Paul Santos for the Paul Santos Live Show. Don't forget to laugh. Have a great night, everybody. Here's the band to close it out. Thank you.